Sometimes the simplest stories hold the biggest lessons. We're going to unpack a little story about a boy and his father, but don't let its simplicity fool you. Tucked inside is this really powerful three-part framework for success that honestly you can use for pretty much anything in your life.
But let's start with a feeling I bet we've all had. Have you ever been banging your head against a wall trying to do something, and then you look over and someone else is just breezing through it like it's nothing? It's so frustrating, right? Well, that exact feeling is where our story begins.
So let me introduce you to David. He's 12, and he's one of those kids who just lives and breathes soccer. On the field, he's a total star, just completely in his element. But get him into a math class and, well, it's a whole different story.
And you know what really gets to him? It's not just the bad grades, it's his friend Matt. Matt seems to just get math, like it's second nature. And for David, the harder he tries, the more he grinds, the further behind he feels. It's tough.
So David's dad sees all this, sees how frustrated his son is, and he decides it's time to step in. But he doesn't sit him down for some big, heavy lecture. Nope. He starts with a really simple challenge.
The challenge is super simple. Hey, David, why don't you invite Matt over to play soccer? And the result? Exactly what you'd expect. David is just electric on the field, totally in his zone. He scores 3 goals. And Matt, well, let's just say Matt really struggles to keep up.
And this just lays it all out so perfectly, doesn't it? You've got David, the soccer star who can't stand math, and then you have Matt, the math whiz who can't find his footing on the field. The point isn't that one is better than the other, they're just wired differently.
And right there, that's the first huge lesson. Success is not about trying to be a clone of somebody else. It all starts with owning what you're good at. Your differences, they aren't weaknesses. They are absolutely your greatest advantage, your secret weapon.
Okay, so natural talent is one thing, but that's only part of the puzzle, right? I mean, how do you actually get good at something? Well, that brings us to lesson number 2, and this is where we get to the real secret sauce.
For the next step, David's dad just tells him, hey, just watch Matt for a bit, see what he does. And what David finds is pretty eye-opening. Matt isn't just slaving away over his homework, he's kind of playing with numbers all day long. He's doing puzzles, figuring out change, even just counting flower petals. It's everywhere.
And that is the secret. Mastery comes from consistent, and here's the magic word, enjoyable practice. That's the whole game. The reason Matt is so good at math is because he's constantly, almost playfully, engaging with it. For him, it's not a chore at all. It's just part of his day.
Okay, so this brings us to the final and maybe the most critical piece of this whole puzzle. It really answers the question of why. Why does all that practice feel so effortless for Matt? Well, it all comes down to one thing, the passion factor.
So the dad sets up one last little experiment. David figures Matt is about 3 times better at math than he is. So his dad says, all right, let's test it. I want you to try studying 3 times harder than usual. Just brute force it.
And how did that go? Yeah, you probably guessed it. No amazing breakthrough. Just a pounding headache before he completely conks out at his desk. And this is so important. Trying to force effort when you have zero passion for something, it's not just miserable, it just plain doesn't work.
And there it is, lesson number 3 in a nutshell. Passion is the fuel for discipline. It's the reason David can play soccer for hours and it feels like minutes, but 1 hour of math feels like an eternity. When you genuinely love something, the hard work part doesn't feel so hard anymore.
So let's wrap this all up. When you put these 3 lessons together, what you get is a really simple but incredibly powerful formula for how we can all get better at, well, anything.
So first, embrace what makes you unique. Stop playing the comparison game and just own what you're good at. Second, find ways to practice that feel more like play than work. And third, and this one is huge, if you have to master something you don't naturally enjoy, your real task isn't to work harder, it's to find a way to fall in love with it.
And that really leaves us with the father's final piece of advice, which is actually a question for all of us. When it comes to success, you really have 2 paths. You can either pursue what you already love, or you can find a way to love what you must pursue. So the question is, which path will you choose?